makers. Today's card is for the Whimsy Stamps Halloweeners Design Team Hop for September. And I am going to make a Halloween card with this Christmas candlelight stamp. It's a red rubber stamp and it's pretty small, but I think it's going to be perfect for what I want to do with this. So it's not going to be Christmas, it's going to be Halloween, but I'm using a Christmas stamp. I want to pair it with the Thorny Frame Die. I think this is such a cool frame. I think the background is going to be this piece of paper from the Nevermore paperback. I like just the dark spooky feel of it. I have a black Heavystock card base ready to go. I have a couple of just outline dies that I might use that I think will give me plenty of background to fit the frame and the candles on. And then our hop today is sponsored by Chibitronics, and they have provided me with this craft light kit. And so this has 6 white LED stickers. So I have 6 stickers with lights. I have 2 batteries, so I could do 2 cards with 3 lights if I want. And then I have this roll of circuit tape. And so I am going to attempt to light up these candles with the Chibitronics light kit. So wish me luck and let's see how this goes. I'm inviting you to come along and let's get making. All right, I'm going to do my best to explain this. So I need to first figure out where I'm going to put the lights. And to do that, I am going to stamp the image with the candles onto just some black Heavystock that I cut out with the wonky rectangles die set, the largest die. I also cut out the backdrop or background piece with the trees and the gray sky that's in the top right hand corner there. I cut that also from the same die, so they're the exact same size. And so I laid my frame down face down and I stamped in the middle so that I would know where I'm going to be putting the stamp later on when I stamp it and color it. And now I'm laying it on top of the background piece and I'm poking holes through all of the flames because I want to know where my flames are going to go, and then I'm going to decide which ones I'm going to light up. I could light up all 5, but I didn't. So these are the little lights, and they have a positive side and a negative side. And I am going to connect the positive sides and the negative sides with some conductive tape. So I need to mark around the holes that I poked one side that's negative and one side that's positive. And I can't have them on opposite sides. They have to be on the same side. So now I have my conductive tape and it's sticky. So I am putting it down on the paper and I am connecting all of those negative symbols, and I just kind of folded it over on itself on that corner, and I pulled it down clear to the far corner because that's where my battery is going to go. Now I made a little battery holder out of a 3/4 inch by 1.5 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to glue that down. And to the inside bottom of that, I have that conductive tape, and that is the negative side. Now I'm going to do the positive side. I'm going to make sure that it connects all the positive symbols, but it does not touch or cross the negative side. They have to stay completely separate or it will cause a short in the circuit that we're making. Now I put the positive side over the top and onto the inside of that cover of that little holder. And now if you look closely, which it's hard to see, but the pointy side has a negative symbol, and then that long flat side of the kind of candy corns, that is the positive symbol. So you have to make sure that they go on the right sides of the tape. Now I want to make sure that they stay in place, so you can just use some little bits and put it across each the back end and then the pointy end to hold those in place so they don't shift once you get your card completely put together. But then you need to put your battery so that the negative side is facing down onto the negative line and the positive is facing up, so that when you press that down, it will light these up. So there you go. Those are the 3 that I wanted to light. Now I have that in place. I just put a little paper that's sticking out of where my battery is so that I know not to put any foam tape there. And so I have some foam tape around it to keep it from pressing down on the battery. And then I'm just kind of pulling that back and I can push it down and that lights right up. So now I can start assembling my card. So I had, to make the frame, I took a piece of Distress Woodgrain cardstock and I just went over it with Distress Archival Hickory Smoke ink on all the high points. I dried it really well and then I sprayed it with some Lost Shadow and then some pumice stone Distress ink. Then I took a piece of watercolor cardstock and I sprayed it with some antique linen distress spray stain and some water and dried that. I made 2 pieces and those are what I stamped the candles on. I wasn't sure if I was going to mess one up, so I always try and stamp 2 images just to give myself a little room for messing something up, or if I decide I want to do an extra layer or something like that. So I stamped in black soot archival ink because I am coloring with a water-based ink that is distress ink and my water brush. And so I am coloring one with, I used the flame colors were fossilized amber and wild honey. And then the rest of this is spice marmalade and crackling campfire for the candles and the flames. And then for the greenery and the pine cones, I just colored those in Distress Black Soot ink because I want the pine cones to kind of blend in and not stand out. And then I fussy cut them and decided that I needed that watercolor paper to have a little more substance to it. So I sprayed it. You could see it kind of has that milky purple cover on the front, and that's because I sprayed it with Distress Resist spray. And that gave it kind of a nice shine. It also made the colors more vibrant, and it gave the paper a little bit more stability. So I started putting the foam dots on the back, foam squares on the back, and then I realized that when I was putting it over the lights that that one flame in the middle of the image was not allowing the light to show through. And so I started just using different tools and my fingers and things like that to kind of scrape away right behind where the light is. And then I kept trying it out and trying it out to see if I could get the paper thin enough that where it didn't tear through, but where the light could show through. Does that make sense? So anyway, that's what I'm kind of doing off screen. Then I keep putting it back on and pushing it down to see if the light is showing through that the little one, short one at the bottom. And I finally got it. So this is one of the new releases for Halloween this year, and this is Seasons Creepings stamp set. So I chose the large skull with the um, candy cane, and then I chose the tiny one, the medium one, and then the one on the coffin. And I fussy cut those out. And I did color those just a little bit with some pumice stone. And then the ribbon there is with crackling campfire. And then I stamped the Seasons Creepings on the same paper, and I just hand cut out a little tag that I'm going to use. And so I'm just kind of laying them on there to see if I can get it in the right spot so that when I glue it down, I can press on the Seasons Creepings and it will light up. I have that thorny frame in there, and then I made sure when I stuck those candles on that they were right over the holes I had poked earlier. I'm inking around all of my little skulls and even the one with the ribbon so that I don't have any glaring white edges and they blend in really well and look like they're just part of that Halloween arrangement. And that's pretty much it. I did it. I finished the card and look at this. When I push the Seasons Creepings tag, it lights up. And I know it's hard to see right here, but this candle and this candle And even this one down here all have lights behind them and they light up. So I think that's really cool. And then I will put in right here a little video I did of it lighting up in the dark when I turned off all the lights. So see, it does light up. Yeah, I did it. I am not kidding when I tell you, I watched the Chibitronics tutorials by Jessica Frost Ballas on their YouTube site, the Chibitronics YouTube site, like at least a dozen times. I was absolutely terrified I was not going to be able to do this, and I'm so excited I did. I even listed my electrician husband to watch the tutorials with me just to make sure that I could do this. So I'm feeling very accomplished. So let me remind you of a couple of things that I did add, even though I talked through them as I went through the tutorial. So I started with the Christmas candlelight stamp because I love a drippy candle for Halloween. I'm telling you, I have to have drippy candles for Halloween. And I looked at these and I said, these could be perfect Halloween drippy candles. And then I wanted to cover up those pine cones. And so I reached for the Seasons Creepings stamp set. And so this is super fun. It has so many skulls in different sizes that it was perfect for this. So I first grabbed this one, the medium one, and the tiny one. And then I thought, you know what? The bow on this one is great. So I went ahead and stamped this whole thing and then just trimmed out the candy cane. So I could have a ribbon on my little Halloween arrangement here. And all those little skulls just fit perfectly with the different sizes, and then the largest one in the front. And then I used the Seasons Creepings sentiment and just hand cut a little tag down there to tuck underneath the arrangement. It's popped up on some foam dots. I went ahead and attached the Thorny Frame to the Nevermore backdrop, which was cut with one of the wonky rectangles. And so it's got that faux stitching all around the outside, so I didn't need to stitch on it. That is popped up with foam tape because I have the battery in there, and so you have to pop it up with that foam tape. And then you have an interactive card. All right, so there's my card, and then I just attached it all to the card base, so it will stand up. And this is what it looks like when it's not lit up, and then again when you light it up. So I just think that's so cool. I'm so excited. So I get to check off today that I have done something I was afraid to do, and I accomplished it. So I'm really excited. I hope that you will do something that you're afraid to do today and that you're inspired to try that. And these Chibitronics lights are not as scary as you might think. Okay, I know you can do it. If you have any questions about this card or the process or anything like that, I'm happy to try and answer them. And if I can't answer them well, I will probably direct you. If it's about the Chibitronics lights, I will direct you to their YouTube, and they can help you out there because their video tutorials are fantastic. So I want to thank you so much for following along with me today, and I want to wish you a very creative day.